The tape in the wall. How I discovered my wife's affair and unleashed a ruthless revenge she never saw coming. There are betrayals that sting, and then there are the kind that make your soul go silent. This is the story of how I uncovered my wife's affair, not through suspicion or gossip, but through a forgotten piece of tech buried inside our bedroom wall. A story of devastation turned into precision. Of a man dismissed as passive, who instead became methodical. This isn't about heartbreak. This is about what happens when the quiet one in the room finally speaks, with evidence, leverage, and an unrelenting sense of justice. Chapter 1. The tape in the wall. There's a moment when your heart doesn't just break, it flatlines. Mine came on an ordinary Wednesday at 6:13 p.m. I wasn't looking for trouble. I was rewiring a faulty outlet behind the dresser when a piece of drywall popped loose. Behind it was a tiny Ziploc bag with a hard drive, one from an old DIY security system I'd long since forgotten. Or rather, I thought it had been disconnected during our home upgrades. Out of habit, I plugged it into my laptop. I expected old footage. A dog knocking over a lamp, maybe us dragging furniture. Instead, I saw my wife, my Clara in our bed. With someone else. Laughing. Touching. Whispering to a man I didn't recognize. The bed I built with my hands. The same one where we first laid our newborn son. The camera had motion detection. It had recorded everything. Over 3 weeks. She hadn't just cheated, she made it a ritual. Same man. Same bed. Same betrayal. Chapter 2, The Phone Call. I watched the footage 3 times. Not to suffer but to document. Timestamps. Audio clarity. Angles. The final clip sealed it. After their tryst, Clara walked to the nightstand, called him, and said the words that shifted everything. Next time don't forget the tape. She had remembered the system, just too late. Found it first. That night she came home like nothing happened. Kiss me. Asked about dinner. I smiled and played along. Hey babe, I found something in the garage. We should go through the old boxes this weekend. Her fork paused mid-air. Just for a second. Interesting, she asked. Let's just say I saw something I'll never forget. She didn't sleep. But I did. Because the power dynamic had shifted. And in the morning, she would realize she wasn't married to a fool. Chapter 3. The Confrontation. The next morning she was up early. Too early. Dressed like she had a job interview. Coffee untouched. Did you find anything else in the garage? She asked, too casual. I sipped my coffee. Calculated. No, but I did check the bedroom. A flicker of fear crossed her face. She made an excuse about visiting her mom. Something about the dog's meds. A lie so thin it practically evaporated. I let her go. Then I watched her, through binoculars from our upstairs window. She wasn't going to her mom's. She was parked down the road. Sitting next to him. The man from the video star. Then the call came. Hello Brian. Are you home? Yeah, I said. Just watching some old footage. Heard panic. Wind. A muffled voice next to her. Oh my God, how could you forget to take the tape? That was all I needed. I snatched the phone. Why don't you tell your boyfriend to come get the tape himself? Just don't forget to wear a bulletproof vest when he does. Then I hung up. Her scream still echoed in my ear. And for once it felt honest. Chapter 4, The Trap. She came back alone. No excuses. Just trembling hands and a voice too weak to lie convincingly. Brian, I can explain. I held up one finger. Not to silence, but to declare this moment mine. I showed her the USB with the footage. She knew what it was. You want to beg? Go ahead. But understand, this isn't about saving our marriage. It's about whether I go to war or let you walk away quietly. She started to cry. I didn't flinch. The conditions were simple. Leave the house tonight. Asterisk take only what you came with into this marriage. Asterisk sign the divorce papers. No lawyers. No delays. Asterisk no alimony. No games. If not, that USB goes to her boss, her firm's compliance team, and every client she's ever handled. And just to drive the nail in, I showed her a draft email to her lover's company headquarters, flagged with national security keywords, and attached footage. If she fought, he'd go down too. He broke. Not with an apology, but with silence. The kind of silence that only comes when someone realizes it's over. That night she left, quietly, without even slamming the door. Chapter 5: The Fallout. 3 days later, the house was quiet. I had secured everything, scrubbed drives, changed passwords, set up a friend's office as backup storage. I left only one camera untouched, the front door, because I knew he'd come. 2:17 a.m. 2 knocks. I watched from my phone. It was him. 2. The smug stranger from the video. He leaned toward the door. I watched his mouth move. Asterisk, we can make this right. Don't be stupid. Asterisk. Tap the mic. Asterisk, you're being recorded. This is federal property under investigation. Asterisk. He paled. Asterisk, you don't know who you're messing with. Asterisk. Wrong, I said coldly. Asterisk, I know exactly who you are. And you're already in motion. In 6 hours, your name and the footage hit a secure federal server. Asterisk. He left without a word. The next morning, I got a text from a number I didn't know. Asterisk, she's your mess now. Asterisk. And that was the last I heard from him. Chapter 6. The lesson. 6 months later, the old bed was gone. The walls repainted. The dresser with the hidden panel. Burned behind my brother's cabin. No reminders. Not of her. Not of him. Just peace. Not the kind that comes from forgetting, but the kind that comes from finishing. From knowing I stared betrayal in the face. And didn't blink. Clara moved out of state. Tried to rebuild under her maiden name. But in real estate, reputations matter. A few anonymous Reddit threads. A few tips to her compliance board. She was done. She never called again. As for me, I didn't just rebuild. Redesigned. Smaller life. Quieter circle. And not a single person I need to explain anything to. Because revenge isn't always fire and fury. Sometimes it's silence. Sometimes it's irrelevance. They thought I was the boring husband. The man who'd never react. But the quiet ones, we don't shout. We build. We build evidence. We build plans. And then when it's time, we build the ending. And Clara, she got hers. Just not the way she expected.